Hey guys, what's up? Dixie here. First of all, I would like to remind you guys that every single guy who uploads a video on YouTube appreciates it if you click the subscribe button, which a lot of you apparently are not doing. So in this case, if you enjoyed the content, please click the button. It would mean the world to me. Anyhow, let's get right into it. We wrote a guide on Shockwave Totems at the start of Crucible League because it was going to be my league starter for 3.21. I'm here with a recap and a little bit of gear showcase, just because I think it will help people decide where and when to prioritize which upgrades. If you would like to read more about the guide, I have a written guide on poe-vault.com. The link is below. I generally don't do full YouTube guides. This guide is just to showcase how the build plays and which upgrades I made, which upgrades I decided to forego, and where I decide to deviate from the guide because of X or Y reasons. That's why we're here. That's what I'm explaining. Going into it, my first item I want to talk about is my wand. So basically, you have to realize we're a bit late in the league. I ended up making some shorts about this build. I never ended up explaining things in detail, which I am right now. So back when I played the build, Divinarius, which is a recommended dagger, was really expensive, and it was really annoying to do crucibles on unique items, so I ended up playing around with a rare wand, or dagger in this case a bit, just because, well, it was available, it was cheap, I picked it up, I slammed some crucible stuff on it, nothing ever came out of it. It's a very mediocre dagger, but it rivals Divinarius at a way cheaper price. Has some cost speed, some spell crit, +1 to spell skills. It's pretty good, it's nothing great, it's not bad either. Next up, let's talk about the helmet. This is an item where a lot of people struggle because I've seen people ask questions about the guide. I bought a 15% Shockwave Totem cost speed helmet, and I spammed mana reservation efficiency essences, which is loathing if I am not mistaken. I ended up spamming them until I hit something that was usable for me. I was looking for either strength, dex, but well, you can't get dex on an armor base. If you want dex, you need an evasion base. A good resistance, and then an open prefix to craft some life. I ended up hitting a jackpot. This is a really good helmet because it has hybrid life. It has T1 or T2 strength. Is this T1 strength? It's T1 strength. And then T1 fire res. So I landed that. I ended up keeping that. Finished it off with the implicits. I ended up going for lessers because 7% mana reservation efficiency of skills was enough for me. Again, it might not be for you. It depends on the rest of your gear and whether you want specific small increments of upgrades. That being said, this is a really good point to move over to the chest piece. Now, my guide recommends a Skin of the Loyal, ideally a corrupted one, for even more gem levels. But since I was playing the build in Crucible League, Skin of the Loyals were actually really expensive because they nerfed Breach uniques, well, into oblivion. A random Skin of the Loyal was like 12 divines when I was playing the build, and I was not going to invest that amount of money into the build because I wanted to play other builds and playtest other guides and update them accordingly, and so on and so on. So I thought to myself, what do I want then on my chest piece? I tried a Carcass Jack, it wasn't worth it. So I bought an Elegant Ring Nail and hit it with some mana reservation efficiency essences because it allowed me to get a lower roll on both the explicit and implicits on my helmet. It made me not require a high level Enlighten, and it gave me some resistances, and it gave me some implicits, and it was all really good. I ended up landing this. It had no life, which is great because of this mastery, which makes no life better than life on a chest piece and will probably get nerfed because it's really good. And yeah, obviously it allows you to get the aura effects and the physical damage. All in all, I'm pretty happy with this choice. A Skin of the Loyal is a lot better. If you want to invest into the build, you should definitely get one. It's a lot of damage, but like a lot of damage, but I ended up never needing it. Well, talking about not needing damage, let's go to the shield. My shield has T1 avoid ailments, T1 reservation, and a shitty fire reservoir, which is why it was never upgraded. Because a shield like this is really easy to get +1 totem on, you just do suffixes cannot be changed, either to the crafting bench or to the, what's it called, Wild Bristle Matron, I think is the beast, what the beast is called. And then you can craft suffixes can be changed through the beast or through the bench, and you can augment influence, because it's a shaper shield, it will always hit +1 totem. In this case, I didn't do it because I was looking, and I have been looking for a really long time. Well, not anymore because I stopped playing the build, but when I was playing it, for a triple T1 suffix shield, so reservation, ailments, and then either a T1 resist or T1 spell crit. I only found one, and I never got around to getting the guy online to actually buy it. because I never had a T1 or triple T1 suffix shield, I am an autist, and I, well, refused using the 2 divines to finish the +1 totem. Also because, well, my build felt fine, and I didn't need more damage while I was mapping. And I wasn't really healing bosses, so, well, whatever. Next up is the jewelry. First of all, I got my projector really early. It's an insane upgrade. You should get it as soon as you can, especially if you're not playing this on League Start and it's like a 5 chaos item. Get it. It's insane. I paid a lot for it. I paid 80 chaos on day 1, which is ridiculous for an item that's like 5 chaos on day 3, right? But, well, that's how big of an upgrade it is. I never had to think about it. I bought some cards as I gained currency, and I instantly bought a projector. It was really good. Next up, my amulet is a steel. It's a really good amulet, even though it doesn't look really good. I needed 85 dex, so obviously my choice of necklaces was limited, because there's not that many necklaces with 85 dex or something. Ended up getting one with +1 spell skills, or physical skills, crit multi, and some flattiest, which is good for EB. Crafted on some life, anointed charisma, done. Next up is my second ring, which is absolutely terrible. I made this with 7 alts and a regal, and ended up never replacing it. I don't know why, but I don't know, it just kind of worked. And there's not that much you can get on that piece of gear, right? Like, what else am I going to find outside of, well, 10 or 12 divine ring, which I never cared getting. It's really bad. Get something better. Pro tip, this one sucks. Next up, my gloves. They're pretty good. I bought them, didn't make them, even though you can make them fairly easily. But this was available. It was cheap, so I just purchased one from a player. If you were to make them, the guide explains you how to make it. If you struggle, you know where to find us. Anyhow, it has the focus mold. I had an open prefix to craft conversion, which is what I needed. Had some life, resistances, even had some regen, pretty good. Finished off the Paragloss with the implicit, and I was really happy with the piece. Next up are my boots, another interesting item in the whole adventure. I used a great essence on this, and I hit this. I think on day 1, and I never replaced it because it's exactly what I wanted it to be. Now, if you were to craft them, you would just buy a fracture life pair of boots. You would spam a resist essence or something, or an ailment essence if that exists. I'm not sure. I think you spam an ailment essence, right? Anyhow, until you have the 3 suffixes you want, you would craft suffixes cannot be changed, and Veiled Chaos, Bulk Mana, and Veil Movement Speed, and you would have a copy of this piece of gear. It would be like 2 to 2.5 divines to get this piece. But yeah, I randomly essenced into it and was really happy with it. Last up is the belt. The belt's an interesting item. I use this belt because I click a lot of altars that are bad for my build, which usually are reduced regeneration of energy shield while you have X or Y charges, and since I have minimum charges, I would never regen energy shield, and I would go and it would be annoying. If you're not clicking too many of these things, or you're actually looking before you're clicking Eldritch Altars, a Darkness Enthroned beats the living fuck out of this belt, but, well, to me, it did what it needed to do. I really liked having this craft, and I ended up sticking with the item until, well, basically forever. Last up, flasks. There's not much to talk about. As I usually do, I would like to emphasize that these are actually ridiculously important for your build. Do not neglect your flask affixes. They are really good. But yeah, Jade, Granite for defenses, Movement Speed Flask, a Diamond for crit chance, and then a Taste of Fate because, well, we're a fizz build that converts into cold. Well, that also doesn't really have a way to mitigate armor or physical hits that well, so Taste of Fate is ridiculous, which is also why it's expensive. As for the 3, nothing special here. The clusters as suggested in the guide. This node in particular is ridiculous, so get them early. Like, don't wait until super late. They're usually not that expensive, so just get them when you can. Last up, Militant Faith. It basically gives me nothing outside of Inner Conviction. Just make sure it doesn't break your power charge or your life node. Or, well, any of the nodes you actually want to use. That's basically it. There's nothing more to say other than the build played incredibly well. It was incredibly fun. It got me to maps really, really conveniently. I never struggled. Clearing my Atlas outside of purchasing my last 2 Void Stones, which I always do because I hate the fights and I TBA doing them even if my build can. But yeah, as the videos at the end of the video the maps at the end of the video will showcase, the build plays pretty fast for a League starter at this budget. It is cheap, it is fun, it is fast, and it is strong. It's all you want. So enjoy the content that comes right now, which is a mapping showcase of my day 4 gear versus a pretty juiced up Atlas with pretty sketchy mods, where I abuse my totems as you should abuse them to kill things that are in front of me. Have fun playing the build.